Fucked Up Shit by username hyperobscura. I guess I'm what you like to call an addict, junkie even, alcohol, no, me never, I never touch stuff, I drink it though, you don't need hands to do that, hence the punchline. Drugs, I mean, I dabble recreationally, what you got? I mean, if it's free, man, I shoot up, lick it, smoke it, stick under my eyelids, snort it right into my aorta, and I'm not particularly that picky either. Captain Cody, Skag, Mud, Herbal Speedball, Organ Oil, Demi's, Miss Emma, Kickers, Sneeze and R-balls. If you have them, I'll take them. Still not addicted to stuff though. No, my one and only addiction is exceedingly simple, yet intolerably hard to satisfy. Fucked up shit. And I'm not talking about your everyday dark web stuff, mind you. I need the real deal. Something about my brain's incapability to shoot me up with dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin and endorphins, also known as the dose. Sorry about that, I tend to go overboard. According to several online doctors, it's a medical thing, and I still haven't scored any prescription for it yet though. In any case, my medical condition forces me to deep dive into the fuckiest corners of society. You have your dark underground clubs, murder parties, subterranean sycofests, torture theatres, decapitation diners, and the odd occasional organ orgy. But what I really enjoy, what makes my dose overflow with dopamine, is the one you never hear about. The ones that you just have to find. No invitations, no RSVPs. One day they just pop up like popcorn, baby, and before you know it, they're gone. Now, I've been to a few of these over the years, and they never fucking disappoint. I already told you about the baby killer incident. Then you know what I'm talking about. Really fucked up shit. I happened on this particular one by chance. Chance being this stripper I know that's into some ritualistic cannibalism or other. To be fair, I don't ask. You shouldn't in this game. And a long story short, she knew a sicko that was hosting the event. Now, I was hesitant at first, because this particular sicko was placing fairly highly on my shit list of sickos. But hey, beggars can't be choosers and all. Not to mention that my dose withdrawals were flaring up, making me in essence nothing more than a shivering sack of suicidal human tissue on the best of days. So there I was in an abandoned mall, a shivering sack of suicidal human tissue, idly accepting assorted drugs from random passerby deviants who are taking pity on me, when this guy comes up to me, all dressed in a fucking pink hazmat suit with a freaky unicorn horn. You know, it's funny because when I look back on it, it's probably a massive drill-shaped dildo stuck to his helmet. And he goes, "Hey, Tilly." By the way, that's my name, Tilly. Thank you, Dad. "Hey, Tilly," he says. "I hear you liked fucked up shit." Man, word gets around, I think to myself, but at the same time, these loud fucking alarm bells start going off in my head, accompanied by Soviet Union amounts of red flags. Now, how the fuck do you know my name? I ask. "Your ears," he answers. "The guy told me to look for a man with fucked up ears." "Well, you found them," I say, making them twirl around all ballerina-like, highlighting my ugly ass ear stumps. "And what fucking guy gave you my name?" "That guy," he mumbled idly, not actually pointing to anyone. "Say, what happened to them?" "To who?" Your ears." "Oh, that," I say. Sliced them off as a punchline in an elaborate Van Gogh joke. Well, two separate jokes actually, both Van Gogh related though. The guy nods, maybe smiles, I couldn't really tell because of the fucking dildo helmet, and beckons for me to follow him. Now, I don't normally follow strange men into bathrooms, but sometimes that's exactly what you should do. I guess learning when to do it and when not to do it is an integral skill in this setting. But you figure out one way or another, so don't worry about it too much. Anyway, into the bathroom we go. Just like rest of the place, it's spotless, meaning there isn't a single fucking spot that isn't covered in grime or dirt or bodily fluids of some description. I wrinkle my nose in disgust as the guy waves me into an empty stall at the far end of it. I hesitate yet again, my mind doing some Olympic levels of mental gymnastics to calculate the risk-reward ratio of my current situation. I land on an even 50-50, good enough, and I saunter into the stall. only to realise that it's not a bathroom stall at all. Unexpected, I say, my dose levels elevating ever so slightly. The guy starts descending the winding staircase leading God knows where, looking back at me when he notices I'm just standing there sheepishly. "You coming or what?" he asks. Fuck no, I think to myself. Yeah, I say out loud. Now, I'm no architect, but I'll hazard a guess and propose that the winding staircases are a rare find in your standard mall bathroom, abandoned or otherwise. This wasn't always a mall, was it? I ask. Good eye, the guy answers. It used to be a church of all things. I guess capitalism always wins, huh? I just nod, soon enough realising these fucking stairs were never ending. Like one of these spirals you see in old movies, you know, when someone is getting hypnotised. Then I think back on this woman when I met when I was young. Or was it when I was younger? Time, man. It's always going somewhere, but I never really bothered catching up to it. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, that's right. I think back on this woman I bumped into on the street. And she, out of the blue, asked me if I'd seen a job, and I was like, what the fuck do you mean? I lost my job, she says. It's always in the last place you look, I note. That's really helpful, she says unironically. Say, could you help me with something else? What? Do you know, she starts, do you know how to rewind a winding staircase? Thinking about it, it sounds dumb, but I don't know, man. That shit always stuck with me, like some kind of riddle, in an elaborate joke, a covert operation mindfuck, escaped lunatic lingo. In any case, that's how I felt when we descended those stairs, like I was rewinding a winding staircase. Here we are then, the guy suddenly exclaims, bringing me out of my temporal trip down memory lane. I am wildly underwhelmed at this point. But, after letting my eyes get used to the dimly lit basement chamber, I can feel my brain starting to upchuck some of that good fucking shit into my system. Champagne, the guy asks, beckoning to a rather unbecoming rat-faced girl in the corner to come hither with a tray of alcoholic beverages. Don't mind if I'm already 2 steps ahead of you, I think, having snatched a bottle I found sitting by the stairs. I pop it open and enjoy the weird expressions on their faces as I chug the whole fucking thing in a matter of seconds. It tastes like aging puke shit hybrid, but my think organ seems to enjoy it, and I'm not one to start a fight with my own fucking brain. I watched the two trade looks of confusion, realisation, then something I falsely identify as fear. Then I turn my attention to the tied-up naked man at the far corner of the room. Sorry, I think I forgot to mention him. But he was there too. In fact, he was the sole reason my dose was elevating. The prospect of some kind of fucked-up torture show was enough to get my juices flowing. Now what? The girl asks. Do we tell him? Fuck it, the guy says, then proceeds to bash half my skull in with a crowbar. It's funny, but you know the part in every fucking action movie where the main character knocks out some poor unnamed henchman unconscious? Do you realise how fucking dangerous that is? Concussions are silent killers, man. Could have inflicted some real brain damage too. Those fuckers can fuck you up for life. Anyway, I digress. I guess I must have been out for a few, because when I woke up I found myself dangling from the ceiling. My body suspended mid-air by some rather sturdy-looking chains. You fucked up royally this time, Tilly, the dildo helmet proposed. If my jaw hadn't felt like someone had ripped out then jammed it back in the wrong way round, I probably would have responded with a witty remark. As circumstances were, though, I felt forced to reply with a half-hearted "Gah." Let's show you exactly how much you fucked up, the guy says. My mind slips in and out of what I assume is consciousness, but it's like my thoughts are torn in half. One side continuously trying to make sense of what I'm seeing, and the other rapidly filling my nausea-inducing dread. Both are fucking screaming though. My stump is somehow hearing the inside of my mind, lamenting as it drowns slowly in an all-consuming madness. The naked man screams too, but he's more physical about it. How can a supposedly regular set of lungs contain that much air? I find myself thinking. His skin is a deep shade of red, some of it undoubtedly caused by the lack of oxygen, some of it by the ever-growing stream of blood caselessly dripping down from his soon-to-be empty eye socket. "Pull it, Ems," the guy yells. The rat-face girl, Elms, has this horrid fucking grin on her face. You know how an old lemon looks, like a really shriveled up piece of lemon, all wrinkles and brown leathery texture? That was her face. All fucking rotting, wrinkled lemon texture smiles. "Pull it!" Em's got the naked man's eye firmly gripped between her thumb and index finger, long, dirty fingernails digging into the spongy vitreous. Now having pulled it out at about an inch or so outside the poor fucker's socket, I can just tell by her posture that she's readying herself for that final, horrible yank. I wanted to close my eyes so badly at this point. You know, just to fucking succumb to the madness my brain is desperately conjuring up to save me. But at the same time, I can't. I physically cannot get my eyelids to work. I don't know why, but that fucking fact freaks me out more than anything else that's going on. And then it happens. With a swift, overly dramatic motion, she rips the fucking eye all the way out, and the man's tormented shrieks reaches sonic levels that transcends human hearing. My ears are ringing, my mind is swelling, and my eyes are itching. "Watch this, Tilly," the man says coldly. "Watch this fucking shit closely." And I do. Barely conscious at this point, hanging on to sanity only by a fucking ignoring reality as a concept. I watch as Ems drops the severed eye to the dirty, grime-covered floor. The disgusting fucking thing is somehow connected to the man via the optic nerves. Impossibly long, squirming crimson tendrils. "What the fuck?" I mumble. "I told you," the guy chuckles. "I fucking told you." It's hard to say how many there were. Countless, maybe. Countless and then some. Thin, crimson worms, entangled in each other, organically interwoven to form the disgusting chain from the naked man's empty eye socket to the severed eye on the floor. I could see them slithering in perfect repulsive unison, and then suddenly the eye starts moving. "That's the best part," the guy says. The squirming chain slowly starts retracting, the blue of the eyes turning a savoury shade of grim grey as it's dragged across the floor, up the naked man's legs, stomach, neck and face until finally, what seems like a fucking eternity, it pops right back into the socket with a repulsive glump. My stomach makes me want to vomit now, but it's barren and dry and empty and sour. So instead, my brain takes control. A tempting blank void, all the way in the back of my mind, presents itself as a possible solution. But they won't let me go. Ems erupts into a maniacal laughter, like the sound of a chainsaw on rough concrete, and the guy soon follows. I feel the muscles in my back contracting all Caesar-like. More than likely my body's last desperate attempt at shutting me down. The naked man has stopped screaming now. The tortured wails replaced by a deep gargle, slime and blood mixed together in the back of his throat. Maybe his nightmare will end, I think, but then I realise it won't. It hasn't. It's still going. The eye is still moving. Being dragged now inside his skull. I see the spongy texture of it bending and morphing hideously as it squeezes past bone structures that are far too fucking narrow. And then it disappears completely, accompanied by the soundscape of glumps and slucks. The man topples over, still tied to the chair, and convulses in agony for minutes, until it finally stops. I have never experienced such silence. That's how I imagine space, you know? A great old big fucking vast empty nothingness of all senses. "And now," the guy says, standing over the corpse of the naked man, "now it's your turn." M's hideous face morphs into that fucking smile again. Big, old, lemon-wrinkled smile. I remembered her crooked yellow fingernails so vividly. Horrid jagged things itching closer and closer to my fucking eye, until I could feel them scraping on my exposed pupil. I guess my mind found a way to, right then and there to fucking shut down. It took it long enough, though, but I figured that I must have passed out. Maybe from pain, maybe from fear, maybe from the exhaustion. Most likely neither of those, though. When I woke up, I was alone, face down in my own sour dry vomit on the ground. No naked corpse man, no dildo helmet guy, no lemon-smiled M's. I spent a good 15 minutes checking my eyes, trembling fingers tracing them, you know, just to see that they were still there. And they were. They were fucking solid. They were fucking perfect. I guess I spent a few weeks or so recuperating from that shit, but I never felt quite the same. Turns out there's a reason for that. Oh, it's weird, you know. I know I didn't realise it sooner. I might be a fucked up piece of shit, but I'm no fucking dummy. I got to hand it to them though. It's a real clever way to do it. Offering you a drink. I guess that's how they got the naked man in too. I suppose that's why they told me I fucked up. Took too much. As the saying goes, chugged the whole infestation. Oh, I cut myself shaving this morning. Just the tiniest nick, you know. But where'd you expect blood? There was none. Instead, I was greeted by the unseemly sight of a thin crimson worm. It's still there, you know, dangling restlessly on my nose. Now, if that's not some fucked up shit, I don't know what is.